Welcome, everybody, in to another post-race after this time the 2020 Ford United Rentals 250 at Talladega. We're back to having triple headers at Talladega in the fall. And all in all, I'd say a pretty interesting race. I will read those super chats at the end once we get through talking about the big moment, summary, all that. But I want to see out of 10. I see people happy about Sieg. It's second time, I think, this year that Sieg has finished second to a JRM youngster. But yeah, out of 10, let me know what you thought about that race. I personally thought 8. I could have given it a 9 if it wasn't for like some of the big wrecks, but it did help me at least get my prediction right, so I'm not too upset by that. But I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was pretty fun overall. I think that we should probably expect this from the Xfinity Series. A pretty crazy one, though. 98 laps in this race. 2 hours, 5 minutes, 10 seconds was how long this race ran, which I believe, was maybe about 15 minutes longer than the truck race. 28 lead changes, 11 leaders, 6 cautions today. Sammy Smith gets the win in the 8 car for JRM. JRM tried to choke it away multiple times. They definitely tried to, but ultimately got the win over Ryan Sieg by 0.177 seconds, the margin of victory today. Then after that, Riley Herbst third. Sheldon Creed comes home with a... I lost my pen. Sorry. Sheldon Creed comes home with a 4th place run, not second. So for a lot of people who were joking like he's in prime position to get a 2nd place finish, he was close. After that, Chandler Smith with a 5th place run, and then Jesse Love, even missing half the front of that car, comes home 6th after getting caught up in that late race 13 car crash. So good top 10 run. He needed that today. After that, you got Jeb Burton in the 7th spot. David Starr, 8th place run for David Starr in that 14 car. Like to see that. Brennan Poole, 9th. I'm sure Eric will be happy with that one. And then Kyle Sieg gets a top 10. So the Siegs, 2 Siegs in the top 10, 2nd and 10th today for the 39 and 28 cars. Pretty sure the 28 at least had X pipes going because I could hear it in the pack. AJ Allmendinger, highest finishing colleague guy. Danny called that one too. An 11th place finish today. Parker Kligerman in 12th. Tommy Joe Martins comes home 13th. Leland Honeyman 14th after restarting in the top 5, going for the win late. You like to see that too. And 15th is Ryan Ellis. Sam Mayer comes home with a 16th place run. Quiet 16th place run for the most part. Matt DiBenedetto. Matty D comes home 17th. McLaughlin in 18th. Blaine Perkins 19th. Eric Almirola only able to get up to about 20th. Dean Thompson 21st. Joey Gase 22nd. Carson Ware 23rd. And Austin Hill, last man on the lead lap, 24th position in this race. Dylan Lupton in 25th. Justin Allgaier 26th. Absolutely the worst possible day he could have had late. And Cole Custer with the 27th place run. A lot of them out of this race. Other than 32nd place, Kyle Weatherman, everyone from this point forward is out of this race. Carson Quaffle comes home out in 28th. Brandon Jones 29th. Alfredo in 30th. Parker Etzlaff 31st. Weatherman, aforementioned 32nd place finisher. Taylor Gray 33rd. Jordan Anderson 34th. Josh Williams in 35th. The lowest finishing playoff guy today, 36th position for Shane Van Gisbergen, in a bit of a hole heading into the Roval. I don't think impossible to make up, but it's going to be difficult. Jeremy Clements, no breaks, comes home 37th. No breaks in the bad way. Like the brakes actually went away. It wasn't like, we'll just never lift, Norm Benning style. But Nick Lights comes home 38th last in this race. Let's pop up on the top here. All right, up here. The official results, they pretty much got them all in. I'm bound to have probably put double of people at some point or spelled somebody's name wrong. So let me know. Just say, you probably just say in the chat, like, hey, dumbass, like, how the hell did you spell Ellis wrong? Like, there's 2 L's, you idiot. Something like that. I'm fine with it. It actually is kind of funny when that happens. I'm like, I know, I got it wrong again. So let me know if you see anything like that. You guys are kind of like my last line of defense on that. Let's look at the playoff standings, though. Heading into the Roval cutoff race next week. Sammy Smith, of course, is in with the win. Nice little rhyme there. Chandler Smith plus 57. Basically, Chandler Smith needs to start and not have a new winner, and he'd be fine. If not, he needs to start and I think finish like 27th without stage points, and he'll be fine. He should make it just fine. Austin Hill plus 29, Custer plus 28, Creed plus 25. I think all 5 of them, if you include Sammy Smith, of course, are pretty good looking into the Roval. Plus 15 for Love, 13 above the cut line for Herbst, and 10 up for Mayer. From there, it's going to get real fun. AJ Allmendinger minus 10 easily, I think, can make that up. Though the one, I'd even say the 98, pretty good road course racers, so maybe not as easy. 18 back for Justin Allgaier, 21 back for SVG, and 26 back for old Kligerman. But overall, let's talk a bit about this race here. I thought that it was, like I said, a pretty good race overall. It was aggressive from the start. That's something I made a huge point of, especially the first stage. I mean, you had Hill up there battling with AJ Allmendinger. They're 2 and 3 wide, aggressive very, very early in this race. A lot of blocking that was aggressive too. A lot of shuffling for the lead, just constant. Like, I really couldn't take notes because I was just like, whoa. Like, they're just going for broke early. I don't think once in this race the entire field trained. There was at least a couple cars that were fighting the good fight on the bottom. I don't think I saw train racing in this race. And for the most part, it was pretty clean. These cars are so unstable. I was thinking they're going to wreck the whole time. This whole wreck was like just a pucker fest. You're just like waiting for it, man. And I see you in the chat. John Candy. I like that. But yeah, man, it was like that. That's what I'm going to remember of this race. Like if I would actually probably rewatch this race. There's not many Xfinity races where I'm like, man, I need to go back and watch that again. Like, the Martinsville Fall race is one of those. I always have to, whatever good race. Texas this year, I went back and rewatched. I might, while I'm running on the treadmill tonight, or while I'm just chilling in here doing some work for the week, I might just turn on this race back over and watch it again, because it was pretty action-packed throughout. Yeah, I mean, I'm with Jonah here. I'm surprised Jesse Love didn't wreck out earlier, because he was just so unstable but so aggressive. But for the most part, until about 20-ish to go, obviously there were little hiccups in there. The field really took care of themselves. I pretty much covered the first stage. Chandler Smith won it over Allmendinger, Allgaier, Hill, Creed, Alfredo, Taylor Gray, Mayer, Custer, and Thompson. That was your first stage. I mean, it's just, usually I talk about big things and then kind of like ease in. No, this time it's just throw you in. Let's just go right into the action. And that's really how this race felt. It was, you had your heart rate up during it. When the CW wasn't screwing up. I saw a lot of you saying that this, everyone noticed. I think it was a full-on CW feed, not just a local one, where it just sort of like, blipped out left and right and just weird things. Again, NASCAR, CW, whoever the hell is listening, please fix that. Like, it's already bad enough that some local areas don't get it on antenna even, or it blacks out, but we gotta fix the overall feed at least. Like, there's something going in 25 I really hope's improved. Just want to say it, constructive criticism. I think we should have that. But there is that. And it needs to be, as someone said, and Noah says it didn't. It looked like a San Francisco earthquake. Oh, and there's my favorite parody account in the chat, NASCAR Shill. That was a great race. I'm glad I tuned into the CW. They had great HD coverage and amazing camera work. I freaking love that account. The NASCAR Shill account is so damn funny because there's so many idiots on Twitter who are like, that is a real account. And I love, like, it doesn't matter if you acknowledge it or not, he's going to play it straight. Like, it's just, I love it, man. That's just pure comedy in the greatest way. But let's get to stage 2. Talking a little bit more about this. get it back restarted. Again, Love and Herbst were the two, speed-wise, I think that were the ones to beat. They were just the best ones. They were able to go where they really wanted. They were able to control different lanes. It was difficult for a lot of these drivers to control lanes. Those two probably had the best control of different lanes today. So I again, really like the fact that you had to see guys work together. And that's a big problem in the Xfinity Series. A lot of these guys just don't work together. They don't know how to draft. It's something that, like, as somebody like me who is a Dale Jr. fan, watched a lot of the greats in their prime at these tracks, like Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon. I would even say, even in the past couple of years, Brad Keselowski, granted, more towards the start of the 2010s, Denny Hamlin, another one. Like, it just annoys me watching these guys where it's like, it's clear what you need to do and you don't do it. But this is where you learn that stuff. And you saw them have to learn, like, we got to work together. We got to get ahead of these guys with the draft, not just bonsai moves. And they learned it until the end. A little bit of a train, but not too much. That's the funny thing. Like, the only train we could see today, and I'm fine if you guys do it, is if you spam trains in the chat. That's like the only way you could really see it. YouTube is impossible to troll. No. We YouTube, you control people on YouTube. It's pretty easy. It's just that you get a bigger backlash once they find out. Twitter, they're just, most people, I won't say most people, a lot of people on Twitter are just plain stupid. So they never, I don't think they realize they're being trolled. They're just like, oh, it's real. God, I hate Twitter, man. Just, I don't care, like, any of the BS behind the scenes stuff. It's just NASCAR Twitter is just so stupid sometimes. It's like, I'll say this about NASCAR Twitter. Slap Shoes put it the best. Slap, if you're out there, you put it the best on this. If you just shit post a meme about it and just have fun and don't take it seriously, it's the funnest place to be. And that's like the only time I have fun on there. There we go. There's some trains. We got some trains in the chat. Let's go. That's not just NASCAR Twitter. That's just Twitter in general. I only go on Twitter for NASCAR stuff. I stay away from the rest of, as Snappy would say, digital hell. But stage 2, we get our first real crash, about a 4-car crash. Really, the front stacked up, chain reaction in the back. And you see, I think it was Nick Lights go around, nowhere for the guys behind him to go. I believe Josh Williams got caught up in 2 crashes today, because of course he did. But get it back restarted. A lot of pushing, a lot of shoving. Nearly a field ender coming out of 4 at the end of stage 2 with RCR shuffling the 7 out. And then again, Jesse Love, man, he tried to clear himself, nearly spins into the field. It's like, dude, come on, man. You're making me way more nervous about this than I need to be. Austin Hill wins it over Sammy Smith, Love, SVG. SVG, I will say this. He was not in any way a favorite today. He was not somebody who was really racing for the lead. But you can tell he's getting more used to this, and he's improving as a drafter. And he finished 4th in stage 2. He was running there, ran his way into the pack. That's what you got to see, because outside of road courses next year when he gets a cup, the only tracks I can think of without some kind of act of God like rain or a lightning strike, a meteor, ripping the tag off a mattress. The only thing that's going to really have a realistic shot of giving him a win next year is probably going to be something on a super speedway. He's got to learn that stuff now. Chandler Smith 5th, Herbst in 6th, 7th is AJ Allmendinger. Creed, Custer, and Jones run out the top 10 in stage number 2. And I gotta say, I would have been fine if this was 50 miles longer. I get that, sunset and TV schedules and all that. Changed it to a 250 miler. But I gotta say, I did like the fact that there wasn't a sense of urgency the entire time. The stages were well enough placed out. The final stage wasn't too awful long, so you had that sense of urgency. I really liked that, man. I really liked it. And I'm okay with if you're going to have 2 Xfinity races at Talladega, I'm fine with one of them being a little shorter. I'm not all for like, let's shorten all the Xfinity races to 200 or 250 miles. I'm not there, but I did like it being a little bit shorter because I think kept it entertaining the whole time. And Xfinity, you can have a race this long. So let's go to the final stage here. Again, a lot of shuffling up front. It was the 98 and the 2 for the most part who were just going for it. But really just 3 wide through the pack for like 30 laps. Just constant 3 by 3 by 3. There's a good amount of space. Bubbles of air kind of between them weren't too terrible. They could still bump draft and all of that. Just classic good super speedway racing in all honesty. And you really kept seeing this shuffle. You saw the 98 up there a lot. You saw the 2, the 16, the 81. You saw others that were joining the fight at different points. And it was really looking like if you can keep it together, you're having a really, really good run to the finish until 20 to go. We get our first big crash. 97 of SVG kind of gets squirreled up in the pack. Kind of a little bit of an issue on his part. And just like last night, my YouTube studio completely crashed on me. I think we're still live. We're still good. But if you saw, like, I just sort of had a blue screen of death moment here. But what really happened after the swirling up here was that the 26 got bumped by Jordan Anderson, which ended up turning the 97. I saw a lot of people, 26 I believe was Thompson. I saw them blaming him. I really didn't think it was too much of an issue as at first with the contact with the 97. I think it was just a little bit of bump drafting. I think where the real issue came was with I think Jordan Anderson in 32, where he put a bump that he shouldn't have probably put in there at that point. I get there was a little bit of a checkup slowing down. It hit at the worst possible point at that kind of changing inflection point to the banking. So the car was insanely free. There was nothing you were going to be able to do in the 26, and that caused that big crash. Like I said, I pin it more on the 32 than I would on the 26 or the 97 per se. But it's just a classic super speedway deal, man. More than anything else, I put it more on Jordan. As much as I love Jordan Anderson, I really do. Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm just like looking at you guys talking about the CW in there. It's kind of funny to me. With all due respect. But we get it back going. Top line gets going with a really big run. Eric Almirola gets a flat, which will bring a caution out almost immediately. I don't know why it wasn't called right away when we could see bits of the car flying off, but whatever. It happens. And Riley Herbst now is in control of the race with 7 to go at this point. And, of course, 7 to go. They're racing all up front. The JRM cars are working together at the 8, the 7, the 9. They almost had in a perfect 7, 8, 9 order. They're working up to the top 3 with 5 to go. 7 and dives low of the 8. They don't work together because the JRM cars never work together. Again, we need to study how they manage to always screw it up when they have a race. Just grab it right out of the jaws of victory. Defeat right from the jaws of victory. I mean, it's just amazing to me how they manage to always screw it up at super speedways. But with that, we get the 98, the 81, the 7. They're 3 wide for the lead, coming to 3 to go, and there's a big-ass crash. Again, another one where it's a lot of bits of chain reaction, bad bump drafting especially. 88 gets kind of turned, and it's on. 13 car crash, red flag. It's just pandemonium, cats and dogs living together. That Ghostbusters reference. And we were all expecting it. We were all expecting it to happen at some point. We knew that they had been getting away with so much for so long that they could not have done it much longer at that point. And then there you go. You have so many of them. You have especially big names, the 2, the 00, the 7. Those are playoff guys. 16 is a playoff guy. I almost said Brandon Jones is a playoff guy. I had to check. I was like, and he should be, The 48, in it. I mean, just a pretty consequential crash when it comes to the big picture as well as the picture of this race. Just a little bit too much of a push. I see Bill in the chat saying the same thing. Just a little bit too much of a push, and it's on. You know, not much more to look at than that. It's just on. They crash and some nasty hits in that, but we get our overtime restart because of course we do in our, you know, the year of our Lord 2024 when we have so many damn overtime restarts. It was funny to me when they showed like the top 4 years of Xfinity Series like having overtimes to finish it, and it was like, you know, 2023, 2024, 2021. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's happened pretty recently. And it's like 2006. I'm like, Jesus, like I didn't realize 2006 had that game in them. I'd forgotten, you know. Granted, it had been almost 20 years, but yeah. Yeah, Jones losing his voice. I'm wondering if he got like hit in the car or something, or if he yelled, or if he was like sick beforehand. That seemed like a very odd reasoning for not having an interview. I'll just say that. That sounded very odd. But that's just, again, that's just me. I'm not going to be a conspiracy theorist on it. People got mad at me for simply saying that maybe something wasn't as it seemed at one point, but is what it is, man. How was John Candy? He was a great comedian. I've never lived on this earth at the same time as him, though, so I couldn't tell you how he was. But yeah, we get our overtime. The 98 and the 8 up front, battling for the win. The 8 has the 18 behind him. The 98 has the 81. The Gibbs boys are the pushers on this one. They end up, with the 98 and the 81 pushing. They try to get working together. Nobody can work together, though. Nobody can lock bumpers, but it's pretty damn clear that they were all locking bumpers. Come on. It was pretty clear that a lot of these guys were locking bumpers at the front, and NASCAR's just playing fast and loose with it. I give them credit. They're consistently not calling it, so it's fine with me. I'd rather it not ruin a good finish. Herbst leads at the white, gets left out to dry, though, by Chandler Smith. It's the 8 and the 81 up front. 3x3 in the pack, but Sieg pushing Sammy Smith wins him the race, and with it, puts him to the round of 8, the 8 to the round of 8, and ends an all-in-all pretty fun Talladega race, I will say. And yeah, Noah Coleman, I think it's legal on the last lap. Funny enough, there was like actually a little clause at one point to the rule, so I can't blame that call too much, just saying. But yeah, I mean, I had fun with it. I saw a lot of you guys had 7, 8, and 9 in there. Obviously some didn't like it, some liked it more, whatnot. But pretty fun race. And Danny Alex tagged me here. Sammy Smith's finishes at Martinsville and Xfinity, 18th, 2nd, 3rd, 7th. So if he just has some pretty good runs in the 2 races beforehand, he could be an outside shot. I mean, he really could. And he could win that race too. I mean, 2nd, 3rd, those are some pretty damn good finishes. So, of course, NASCAR show gives it a 10 out of 10. Thoughts on Leland Honeyman today? Running up front at the end, keeping out of trouble. I like seeing that. I like seeing guys who aren't normally up there run up there. So I like that. I really like that. Of course, we got another one from Not Jim Francis burner account saying this race was an 11 out of 10 like always. Speaking of 11, he's going to get it tomorrow. I'm telling you now. You guys got a great sense of humor. I love it. Let's look at the super chats really quick. Reminder, we'll be live tomorrow after the Cup race, no matter what, whenever the hell it ends, after how many restarts, overtimes, no overtime, whatever. We'll be live on Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time on Danny B's channel for NWP. Also, the week after that, we'll be live on Eric's channel with special guest Ellie Production. Should be a lot of fun. So definitely tune into that throughout the week. Let's can we get the likes up on this one? Like, I don't know if we can do 100, but maybe like 88. It's Talladega, as many used to say. We can get up to like 88 for Dale Jr. Like, let's get those likes up. Lick that like button. And I do that. I think it's gonna be a good one tomorrow. Twin Spinner with the 5 here. Dale Jr. about to tell his drivers to stay the hell away from each other at super speedways next year. I Yeah. I mean, that I don't know what the hell that he can do at this point to be like, hey, how about you work together and not crash the hell out of each other? So there's that. Damn, maybe we will make it to 100 on that one. We're already at 84. You guys are killing it. Let's see if we can get to triple digits by the end of the baby. Damn, you guys are good job, man. Good job. But yeah, I wouldn't blame him, man. It's just I don't know. They make like the dumbest decisions. It's like they get up there and they just have the blue screen of death. Gary Boogie with the 5 saying, best comment I saw during the race, Sammy Smith has the charisma of an accountant. Gave me a laugh. Yeah, that post-race interview was probably the most boring race winner interview I've ever listened to. Like, he was teed up multiple times to talk about like how much it meant or like how excited he was for the team, all these things. And it's just like, yeah, it's really great. I'm like, dude, you just won a race. Why the hell aren't you like? I'm sorry, I don't care. I don't care if it's a damn ARCA race. I don't care if it's a local race. I win a race. If I ever had the chance to race and I won a race, they'd have to send the cops to arrest me to get me off the damn track so they could do the next thing. Like, I would want to celebrate the hell out of that. And as a fan, I want to see you celebrate that. Like, some of the coolest moments for me at the track were like watching Tony Stewart climb the fence, watching Kyle Busch burn in the infield. As much as I didn't like him at the time, the burnouts were fun. Dale Jr.'s burnout when he won. Jeff Gordon doing the little celebration at Martinsville in 2015. Like, come on, man. You don't even do that stuff, but like, show something. Like, I'm half expecting like they ask him a question and him just go, Bueller. Like, that's what I'm expecting, like, at this point. I would have rather him said that because at least I would have laughed at the joke. But he's probably going to be here a while, whether for talent or money, whichever is the most. But he'll be here for a while. Maybe he can get some practice in at charisma, I guess. But yeah, you're right, Garibugi. Charisma of an accountant, and not a fun one at that. Reverend Rasheem Hall Stewart with the 2. Which do you prefer, Daytona, Talladega, or Atlanta? Atlanta's growing on me, but it's still third. I still would prefer the old one that they had beforehand. So of Daytona, Talladega, in person, Daytona. One of the greatest facilities in the world. Absolutely amazing atmosphere, history to it. Everything about Daytona is so damn fun to be at in person. And I love it on TV, don't get me wrong. But watching on TV, Talladega, just because the cameras can capture everything, I think, a little bit better with how big it is. I don't know why. I just don't think that TV covers Daytona as well as they could. But that's just me. I'll leave that that's a good poll. We'll leave that as a poll for right now while we finish this off. And think about it. After tomorrow, the next super speedway race will be the 2022 Speed Weeks. Or 2022. What the hell am I talking about? I am so freaking out of it. 2025 Speed Weeks. I don't know why. We're gonna travel back to the past. All right. So let's have this right now. Favorite super speedway. Hey, listen, I might be wrong, but at least I have charisma doing it. Just saying, man. Like maybe for one of Sammy Smith's next wins, I'll give him my charisma and in return for whatever. I don't know. Trying to save an already bad fudge up. Back to the Future, yeah. So what's your favorite super speedway? Atlanta, Daytona, or Talladega? Put the poll up right now. I get recency bias will probably heavily affect this, but still willing to have the fun poll. And then CM or centimeter, whichever way you want to go about it. 5, let this Saturday's race not distract you from Norm Benning's 21st place finish yesterday. That's right, Norm Benning, a stalwart of the top 20 yesterday. A hell of a run for that team. I was happy to see that. I'm glad he made the race, and I hope he has more opportunities coming up because he's not that bad of a super speedway racer. I'll say that. Yep, that's right. I'm not stuck in 2004. If I'm saying in the future for 2021, it means I'm stuck in 2022. I'm stuck in 2021. So we're moving it up. Like, we're at the end of the Gen 6 era now instead of 2004. Man. A NASCAR shill. Shout out to Norm Benning for being the first NASCAR driver to follow me. He is a true believer in Jim France. Of course, a lot of people liking Dega. Looking at the poll right here, pretty much a split I thought we would see with it. 46%. We're going to end the poll right now. 46% for Dega, 38% for Daytona, and 16% for Atlanta. So yeah, that'll do it. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. We're still in daylight, at least here. The lighting probably has changed throughout. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. We will be live tomorrow after the Cup race. Cannot wait. Talladega is always fun, no matter really what the package is, unless it's, I don't know, one of the bad ones. So can't wait to see you then. Thank you for giving me some of your evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Later, y'all.